Manitoba's dramatic If Day. What to expect if Canada and the United Nations were to come under the grinding heel of Nazism.
It was all about what if Canada lost the war and we became Nazis. You know, we were controlled by the Nazis.
Basically to scare them or shock them into giving to the Victory Bonds movement. And they were able to raise over $40 million in Winnipeg alone, I believe. So they did a good job.
It is a piece of Winnipeg history that is easily overshadowed by the fighting that was going on in Europe. In February of 1942, Canadian soldiers were in the depths of the Second World War. But on the 19th of that month, Winnipeggers got a taste of what life would be like if that war were to happen right here.
All churches and other places of worship are closed. Priests and ministers are arrested. No place in the new order for God. Das Führer is almighty now.
Starting at 6 a.m., sirens went off, and volunteers dressed in Nazi uniforms rented from Hollywood started a mock invasion of the city. Thousands of local army members fought back, but at 9:30 a.m., Winnipeg had surrendered.
You know, there's some movie reels out there. They show them taking the premier out in handcuffs and, of course, marched by German guards with rifles.
The event used Winnipeg as a stage, and it was unlike anything North America had ever seen. And reporters from around the continent were keen on covering the action.
Schools are invaded by Nazi culturists. Youngsters see their teachers expelled. The principles of democracy are erased.
No civilian will be permitted on the streets between 9:30 p.m. and daybreak.
The day was about demonstration and theatrics, and yet a few articles have been preserved. At the Legion House Museum, a poster outlines the new rules under occupation.
Every householder must provide billeting accommodation for 5 soldiers.
Over at the Manitoba Museum, several small slips of paper tell stories of the event and how it delved into the lives of as many people as possible.
So what we have here is a wonderful bus transfer. It doesn't sound wonderful, it sounds like such an everyday thing, but on the back it says verboten, which means forbidden. It is forbidden to remain seated in the presence of a German officer, and so a German officer might come on the bus and everyone would have to stand.
Private homes are pillaged. Systematic looting? No. The Nazis call it borrowing. The people of Europe can tell you all about that.
They had advertised it quite widely a couple of weeks beforehand so that there wouldn't be mass hysteria, especially for their American neighbors to the south, who would have been quite surprised if all they heard was you know, Nazi propaganda coming out of the north. So, no, they knew it was coming.
By 5:30 that afternoon, the invasion was over. The prisoners were released. The day was an important fundraiser for Canada's continued war effort. But here in Winnipeg, it also provided an important message as to why war should never happen here. For Breakfast Television, I'm Natalie Geddes.